Hey everybody, Garcia here, and today I'm taking a look at the latest expansion to Neuroshima Hex here. This is Sand Runners. In this little box here, you are going to get a new faction, Sand Runners, and they are going to be bringing to the table a couple of new things, but mainly the ability to kind of control the weather, to create sandstorms on the battlefield in order to not just trigger battles, but also obstruct fields of view and lock units down in the middle of the fight so that they do not contribute and aren't hurt also. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at how this works. I'm not going to be explaining how to play the base game. We do have videos for that if you want to check that out, though, if you want to find out about this base game, which is an excellent game, by the way. But if you know the game, you're curious about what the latest offering is for it, then you're in the right place. Let's go ahead and take a look at this, and I'll see you on the other side. So here's what you are getting with these Sand Runners, and there's a couple of things in the expansion that are going to be pretty interesting and unique to this faction. So let me go ahead and explain those things now. The first thing is the HQ. This HQ is double-sided. You have a standard side that looks pretty much like every other HQ in the game, but then once per turn, you may flip this HQ over, and it is going to pick up some speed, so it'll attack at speed 2, and it's going to have an attack facing only one way at strength 2. Also, a protection barrier on one side, a little armor. So that's pretty neat. When you flip this over, you can rotate it whichever way you want to, and it'll be able to take care of one pesky neighbor, possibly before they are able to damage you. Or perhaps you simply need that protection, and you can face that the right way and bounce off a hit. So again, you can only do this once per turn, so once you flip it over on your next play, you could choose to flip it back over. But it's really interesting, very versatile. You have to be, forward thinking when you employ this. So I like that quite a bit. The next thing, and really what I think is the biggest change to the game that this faction brings about, is these tiles here. These are battle tiles, but they are different from the battle tiles you are accustomed to, which you are going to play, discard, and then a battle ensues. These are going to go right on the board. These are storms. And you are going to use these to overlay on top of a unit in play. So when you trigger a battle, you don't discard this. You put it on a unit that's already out on the battlefield. You cover that up. And then a battle triggers. And that space, there's a giant storm right over that space, so it will block line of sight. The unit below it will not be hurt or touched in any way. And you can do some really tricky things because of the way these battle tiles work. You can block damage to your own units. A unit trying to shoot through this one will not be able to do so. You could protect something by covering it up and take it out of the equation for the upcoming battle. You can fully neutralize somebody who you think is going to be a pesky problem. You can cover them up, and you're not going to hurt them this round, but they will also not be able to hurt you. These are just fantastic. Once that battle is over, you remove the token, you discard it, and the game continues. So I think this is by far the biggest twist, the biggest change to what the Sand Runners do. And it's just clever, very tactical, really interesting stuff. And then we've got a few other things, some of the ones I want to highlight here. There's a new foundation tile, Quicksands here, which you put out on the board. It doesn't block the space it's on, just like other foundation tiles. This one, at the beginning of a battle, is going to destroy whoever is on it. Whichever tile sits on this, it and the quicksand will go away at the very beginning of a battle. Before you place this, in fact, if that was the case. And the other thing that this does is, if it's in a spot that is still empty, meaning no one is on it, when you trigger a battle, you may shift this one space to an unoccupied spot. So not only is it a foundation tile, but it's a foundation tile that you might be able to travel around the board, get in a position to help you. So if I really don't want you to put a unit right here in front of it, when I trigger my next battle, assuming it's empty and so is this, I can shift to it, then trigger a battle. and I'm going to dissuade you from playing into it because I will, well, eliminate you. So that's really neat as well. We've got over here this tile, which is nice for mobility. It itself has mobility, and anybody connected to it. This module is going to have mobility. That's very nice. Over here, we've got this tile, the Optimist. He's got mobility also. And then two sides that are going to give +1 initiative to whoever is connected to them. Very cool to speed up your guys. It's a generally slower faction, so you're really going to want this character to help you out. And then we've got over here 2 field medics. These two are going to, much like that Optimist, are going to plug into adjacent units or tiles and save them when they would take hits. They do have unique artwork, these two, though they are the same. They behave the same way. And they're just really neat. So a nice amount of attack there, very, very low speed. But it's really about, it's a medic with teeth. And I like it quite a bit. So there you go. That's how the Sand Runners work. A couple of really neat twists to what they do on the field. And I think, in my opinion, they changed the way battles play out and the way that those, confrontations feel in many ways. So let's go back up top. Let me give you some final thoughts on this one. Thematically, I have a couple of issues with this one things I don't quite grasp or understand. But mechanically, I think it's extremely robust. I enjoy the faction a lot. But I'm the kind of Neuroshima Hex player where I get into the story. I know a lot of folks say this game is abstract, and I get that. This game is largely abstracted. But I enjoy the themes at play here, and I love a faction that I can get into thematically as well as because of whatever mechanisms they employ to try to win. This one, it makes it a little tougher for me for that first part, for the former statement I made. Because I'm not sure I understand how they're doing what it is they do. So let's go ahead and talk about that, all right? I'm going to start with thematic ties here, which is one of my issues, like I said. And this isn't a massive thumbs down or anything. I'm just a little confused. The sand theme, the ability to control the weather, to create places where there's quicksand and bring down storms. I'm not sure I'm getting that from the characters I'm looking at here. I'm not sure what they seem to be thematically. What they tell you on the box is these guys, the Sand Runners, are the remaining forces that were once sent to face Moloch at the very beginning. Moloch is this, think Skynet, robots. A bunch of nutcases who lost their minds during that time. The very moment people believe they know everything there is about them, the most bizarre things happen. Ooh, yeah, but how do those things happen? Why do these guys control the weather? What is that about? I'm not getting that from some, crazy-looking post-apocalyptic character. So that's the thing. Aesthetically, kind of the same thing. Their symbol on their tiles here, the backs of the tiles, has a combat knife, 3 combat knives. So again, I'm not getting that leap from, so they are a guerrilla faction and they control the weather? How? Why? So I'm missing that, all right? Everything else I do enjoy. I think the replayability here is very nice. There's a lot to consider when you are playing these guys. They are different from what I've seen before, but they are simple, and that's nice. I think the game length stays the same, so no issue there. The ease of play here is a good one, because this faction, while they feel different and they do things that I find captivating, they are simple. I would recommend this to someone not long after they get the core set, because I think it's going to show them the things this game can do without expecting a lot from that player from a rules point of view. Some of the factions that have come out for this game are very distinct. They do crazy stuff. You also need to learn a bunch of rules to figure out how to play them. They don't just, scratch out a couple of lines in the rule book and replace them. They throw away the rule book and give you a new one. These guys do not do that. So I would recommend them early on, like I said. And then lastly, we've got tactics and strategy and luck, things like that. I like that this one gives you a set of tools and expects you, lets you figure out how you want to use those tools. I enjoy that. The storm ability of covering up a tile is so interesting because it's up to you to decide if it's offensive, if it's defensive, when you do it, why you do it. I think that's so clever. So again, it's like a little bag of tools, and you employ those however you see fit, depending on your style and depending on who you're going up against. I really enjoy that. I know it's the kind of mechanisms that present themselves and then get out of the way and let you play. So, very nice. Again, I do have a bit of a disconnect with this one when it comes to the theme and the mechanism. So, thematically, I would give this a 6 out of 10. Mechanically, though, I think it's great. And I would give this an 8 out of 10. So, in my overview here and my final word, I'm splitting the difference. So here it is, my bottom line. Not too complex, but very versatile and fun to play with and against. This is an excellent army that's easy to recommend. This is going to get a 7 out of 10 from me, which is a seal of approval. And I am just blown away that this game, Neuroshima Hex, just keeps on giving. This is another great faction. I'm so happy to have it. It's one more to bring out and play and discover all these interesting matchups. Whether that is, again, for me, thematically, or you just want to have these mechanisms clash against one another and see if you can come out on top. So there you go. That is Sand Runners. I do recommend it. That's going to be it, everybody, for me. My name is Z Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.